My name is Aurelia Engel. I am the daughter of Françoise Gilot, and Luc Simon was also a painter. We are in the studio of Françoise Gilot in New York. She's been there for about 30 years. I think she was more influenced, if you take a whole career, by where she lived. She started in France, obviously, and that was a very important part. And she loved France to these days and the culture. Then she moved to London in the 60s, where the Tate Gallery had found a studio for her in London, and she had many collectors. And when she moved to California, again in the 1970s, when she got married to Jonas Salk, again completely different style emerged. So I think when she moved to America, she felt a sense of freedom to just let go of the past. Then she moved to New York, and again that spurred something different. And she doesn't ever paint from nature, so she won't paint something that resembles the place where she is. But the physical space will have an influence on her body and then on her mind, I think. So that would be the great influences, I would say, on her painting. She was part of the Réalité Nouvelle, an abstract movement that was directed by Sonia Delaunay and Nicolas de Staël. And she, even though she was very young, she was integrated into that movement and she exhibited with them. So when she started living with Picasso, she was already professional. She was very young when she met him. And after meeting him, she had the life of a woman and a mother, I believe. Was all of a sudden the richness of becoming an adult woman and having a full life of art, a man, and the children. You know, I think that was very important. And it was very rare at that time for women to be able to think they could have all of that. You know, it's like, well, they had to choose. And with her, she didn't want to choose. She wanted to have that whole life, the whole spectrum, and live it with passion, all of it. This painting is from 1945. So I love it because it is completely crazy to see a nude in there, but there it is. She calls it a nude, and it's an abstraction, and I love abstractions. So this is probably the beginning of New York, and that theme of the wanderer. And you can see he's sort of passing a threshold. So he's going somewhere, he's already in a big space, which is interesting, chaotic, cheerful. But I love also something like this landscape, which is called Landscape for a Gambler. And she's always looking for that tension of implying a subject with very, very few real figurative elements. And the last piece, which are two birds, that sort of is her symbol. She always felt as a child that the birds were her symbol, because her name is Françoise and her patron saint is Saint François d'Assise, who always was portrayed with birds. So birds to her is freedom, is her flight, so it's herself. We have beautiful examples of her whole career, you know, from 41 to 2014, 15. To be raised by Françoise Gilot, I can say that it was very exciting to come into the studio and always wonder what is going to be new. So it was a very nourishing thing for me, because it gave me the strength to take risk in my own life. And as she had to lead a full life and not to have to choose between career or men or children, but, it's like, why not have it all? It's like her, So it was wonderful, to be raised. It was quite, extraordinary.